8 ways that will not help you to grow your online store. Tactics that you should avoid and stop doing if you're doing any of them, because even if it's driving traffic to your store, it's not going to get you any sales. This video was actually inspired by one of this community posts that I saw online a few weeks ago. The Shopify store owner was asking for help. They have been getting about hundreds and thousands of traffic to the store, but they are not getting any results. There are probably like a handful of sales here and there, but their resource is running low and they seem to be getting quite desperate, so to speak. In their own words, they have tried just about everything that could help to get their website blow up, but they're not seeing the results. I read through the ask for help in more details to understand what kind of tactics that they have tried, and to my horror, actually, they are doing all the things that they shouldn't do for their store at all, because it's just a complete waste of time and money. Things that I always tell my clients, tips that I've told all of you who have been watching my videos so far, things that you shouldn't be doing. So I'm going to go into more of these details. They have listed about 8 methods, so I'm going to dive into it. I'm going to explain to you why that's a no-no for your store and what you should do instead if you want to drive high-quality shoppers to your store that turn into sales. Hi, I'm Clarice Lin, the ROI doctor who helps online store owners to double the traffic and sales by getting on Google and YouTube page 1. If you're new to the channel, please download my free Shopify marketing guide, link in the description and pinned comments, where I go into the different ways of free and paid ways to drive high quality traffic to your store, which are the best methods and tactics that's more suited to your budget, that will get you the results within your desired time frame. The story goes like this. There's this Shopify store owner who has requested for help on the forum, and I was kind of horrified to see what other tactics that this person or this store owners, maybe with his partners, have actually tried for the store. They have done all the no-nos in the books that I always tell people to avoid. This is a Canadian store. They have actually a storefront and they have set up their online store on the Shopify platform. And the store owner has listed 8 tactics that they have tried. They felt that they have done everything that they could, but it's not getting them the results. So let's take a look at the post. The store is called Books, Cuts and Buys. And apparently they have been working on this for about a year now. So they are giving kind of a 1-year progress update. And what they have highlighted is they have been getting lots of traffic, but no sales. You can see over here, over 100,000 plus, but not nearly as many sales. They have done a lot to generate sales, getting traffic. These are the 8 that they have written down so far, which is buying the backlinks, adding lots of products daily, buying traffic, making the store with a clear call to action, descriptive products, SEO marketing, audience targeting by popularity, formulating an online identity of what we have to offer. Right here, they have said that they have just done about everything that it would take to make a website blow up. Hard work, no results. And they're asking for help to look over at the website why customers are not buying, but they're coming to the store. And they mentioned that they have about 600 products up for sale, and they were hoping, envisioning that about 1/3 of that would be sold by now. It would have helped to cover a lot of the business costs and fuel them to get back on track. But there's no point in building a shopping mall in the middle of the desert if no one's going to go into it. Very true. And they sound really disappointed. At the end of it, they say, build it and they will come is only reserved for Field of Dreams. It just isn't true. So I'm going to go into details explaining why some of the tactics that they have done so far doesn't work, doesn't make sense, and what they are doing wrongly and what they should do instead. Now you get a better idea of what the store owner has tried. I'm going to go into it one by one and explain to you why that doesn't work. Buying of backlinks. Buying of backlinks is strictly prohibited by Google. In the initial stage, when Google was improving on the algorithm to surface the right results to people, what they said was, if you have more backlinks, you're going to get a higher ranking. What this created was actually a back market for buying of backlinks, meaning that people can buy backlinks for cheap. There are many people out there who's offering like $5 for thousands of clicks or more. Think about it. Okay, where are those backlinks coming from? Are you getting those backlinks from reputable websites or reputable store? You shouldn't be buying, because those backlinks could be from shady websites or from websites that actually don't really exist. So basically someone have set up like a placeholder website, there's nothing in there, and they're just putting tens and thousands of URLs pointing to store owners or to other websites that are buying backlinks. Basically, you're getting the backlinks from the wrong people, and that's, in Google's books, you are actually going against the rules, and you might get a penalty as a result of that. So please don't buy backlinks. If you want to know a bit more about backlinks, I've also created a video before that I talk about why you shouldn't buy backlinks from Fiverr for $5. You can check the video out, link in the top right hand corner of the screen. What Google's trying to do at the end of the day by saying that having more backlinks means you're going to get a higher ranking is that birds of the feathers flock together. So if there are reputable stores, reputable websites, reputable influencers who are linking to the store because they have tried one of your products, or they feel that your store has a really good vision and they want to support your store, then they will mention your store. So they will create a link, they will mention your store, then they link to your store. So by having more of those links, it's considered good. So that's what Google wants. You can buy backlinks, but you shouldn't get them from the shady markets. What you need to do is to look for reputable influencers who are interested to try your products. Maybe you can send them one of the products and they review your products, and then they can link to your product in one of the articles or in the social media posts to your store. So that are good backlinks you should be earning. Or you could also be buying sponsored ads from reputable magazines. If let's say you're a swimwear store owner, and you can look for a reputable lifestyle magazine, asking them to write a review of your products, and then they can link to your store. And this transaction that you have paid them money is transparent to Google. So in the backlinks to you, there will be an indicator to say that this was a sponsored post. So this link was sponsored. So it's kind of telling Google that, okay, yes, you have got links from them, but it's because you paid them, that's fine. You are still getting associated with the right type of people. So yes, you can buy backlinks, or you can get free backlinks if you are giving out your products. So those are good backlinks that you should be earning for your store. Number 2, adding of products. If your store is not selling any products, if nobody's buying from the store, it doesn't matter how many products you have there. You have tens of products, hundreds of products, thousands of products. It doesn't mean that the more products you have in your store, meaning you get more sales. It doesn't work like that. So this store owner has basically put in a lot of products, thinking that if I have everything there is to be sold, then obviously someone's going to buy. Well, that doesn't quite work like that. What I usually recommend my clients is to select a right number of selection of products for their store, present them properly on the store, have high quality images. If you're working with manufacturers, or if you have your own product, hire a professional photographer to take good, brightly lit photos that customers can see and feel confident to buy from your store, or to get more product reviews for your products. And make sure you are writing the right product titles, you're putting the right keywords, so when people is typing into Google, your products will show up on Google search. If you want to learn of how to write better titles that get more clicks from Google, you can check out one of my videos, link in the top right hand corner of the screen. And of course, the title is important, so that someone clicks onto your store. You want to write better description as well. Be as comprehensive as possible. Tell them what's the product about, what are the benefits, how you can care for the products, what's the dimension of the products, the color, the material. Put as much information as you can to give the customer confidence that this is the product that they are looking for. And when you write better product description as well, that is closely linked to the keywords that people are looking for, it helps Google to better place your products higher on the search results. If you want to learn how to write high quality product description that gets you more clicks on Google, you can also check out my video, link in the top right hand corner of the screen. Long story short, it's not about the quantity of the products that will get you the most number of sales, especially when you're starting right at the start and you're still growing your business. It's the quality of the products that builds up your reputation and gets your customers to return again and again and recommend your store to their family and friends. Things you should never be doing. Buying traffic. The concept of buying traffic, I kind of want to talk a little bit more about this, because to me it's quite absurd, to be honest. It's like, think about this. Let's put online store concept aside. Let's think about a physical store. Let's say you're walking along the streets, walking through a row of shop, and then one of these bread stores just open. Someone comes out and give you money to step into their store, to the bread store. And you are not hungry, you don't really want to eat bread, maybe you're even intolerant to wheat products, so you're not interested to buy, but someone gives you money to tell you to go to their store, right? You might take the money, you go into their store, but you have absolutely no interest to buy the products. So of course you're not going to buy, so it's not going to get them any sales. So they just wasted their money paying you to step into their store, but you're not buying. So that's the concept of buying traffic. Okay, let's go back to your online store. When you have an online store, there are people who say, oh wow, if you spend $5 or $10, you're going to get hundreds and thousands of visitors. It doesn't quite work like that. Questions you should be asking is, these visitors that they're getting to your store, are they likely to be your customers? Are they interested in your products? What's the point of getting traffic to your store, getting people to your store who don't want to buy your products at all? And some of this traffic, so to speak, are actually from bots. So there are people who are writing like scripts to be running bot traffic to your store. So there's not actually a real person coming to your store. It's basically like fake clicks. So that's actually just a waste of your money. There's actually a black market for that. So you really want to avoid that. You should be asking, is the traffic that you're buying, are they actually real people from the country? If you're doing actually, let's say if you're selling in US, you are not doing international, are you getting like visitors, those clicks from real people living in the USA? People who are scamming store owners by claiming to bring them traffic. What they did is actually they hire a lot of people from more of the less developed countries to pay for those clicks to your store, but in fact, those are people who will never buy from your store. If anyone's offering you free traffic, if you can buy traffic, please avoid. Because as of all things in life, I strongly believe in is that if something is too good to be true, it is too good to be true. For the 4th to the 8th tactics, I'll be going to my computer where I'll show you a couple of things that this store owner has been doing for their website. And then I'll explain to you what is it that they're doing wrong, why they are not fostering trust with their potential customers to their store, and why even though they're getting traffic, they're not getting any sales.
Looking at the homepage, it does look like there are very clear call to action. You can buy, you can add to cart, so everything is relatively clear. Customers know naturally that they are supposed to add to cart, they're supposed to click on the products to find out more. They are all pretty obvious. This store, however, is lacking trust. If you look at some of the products that they have right now, just looking at the featured products for the week, huge discounts only, you can see that many of the products, they range from hundreds of dollars, even down to $20 to $30 Canadian dollars, and as much as $20,000. So there's a huge price range of products that they have. And I want to bring the attention here to the shipping policy. That was really alarming when I first saw it in the first place. This is okay, this is good so far. Although it would be better if actually they don't have it all in caps. Somehow, having all your text in caps actually comes off as rather untrustworthy. There are only certain words you should be using caps, but if you keep using caps for a lot of your text, it doesn't convey trust. Anyway, as I was scrolling down to the rates, everything was looking good so far until I came to the end of it. Shipping policy. At the bottom of it says, we are not responsible for items lost in transit shipping. We are not responsible for items damaged in transit and shipping. Saying that we'll do our best to make products securely shipped to avoid damaging. Products are double checked before shipping to inspect for damage. But they are not going to be responsible for that. And this is something that's really disturbing. It's basically saying that if after you paid your money to us and something gets lost, then it's your problem. And let's say if you're actually buying one of those products that's like $20,000 and then the store owner says that they're not going to be responsible for it, then that's kind of really alarming. What a store owner could have done was to ensure that they will be paying for more expensive shipping. Let's say if someone is buying a product that's $20,000 or so, they'll be happy to pay a little bit more for shipping to ensure that the products arrive safely in the first place. or there should be some kind of insurance that they're buying for their products to make sure that if their items lost, they can go back to the courier company to get their money back. By saying that they're not responsible for items lost in damage, that's kind of saying that, yep, after you paid us and we ship it out, we try to do everything, it's kind of on you if something goes wrong with the shipping company. And that's not really good, because the default expectation of most store owners is that they're going to take care of shipping, and if anything gets lost in the transit or if it gets damaged during delivery, the onus is still on the store owner to make sure that they are going to deliver a good product or a non-defective product to the customer. By not taking responsible for items lost in shipping or being damaged, it doesn't foster trust with the customers. So if customers really want to buy those products that are really rare and valuable, it makes them think twice, to be honest. So that's not very reassuring to have that. Even though at the end of it, they say, okay, all items now have tracking, no confusion about package, and once again emphasizing that seller is not responsible for any lost or damaged items during transport. And this doesn't really work well. In this case, then it's a lot of risk for the customer to be taking, and they are less likely to be buying those items in the first place. The description of the products, how the products are being presented. As you can see, the store owner said that they have done a lot of work to make the products really descriptive. I'm assuming it means that they are presenting the products in the best possible light, giving a lot of explanation about what the product is about, so it helps customers to make up their mind. So let's take a look at their products. Essentially, they have grouped their products into 6 different categories: books, bikes, sports card, DVD plus VHS, toys plus others, and art. High price. Let's take a look at a couple of product examples. This is a biographical notes on the Lawrence's 7 Pillars of Wisdom and Revolt in the Desert by T. German Reed. And it shows that there is a discount. We have a picture of the book here. So simply from the pictures that has been taken, it was taken really in poor lighting. There's a lot of shadow, so you can't really tell what type of condition this book is in. Obviously, this is a used product. This is not a totally new product. If you take a look at the images, when you click to expand the image, this looks really blurry. And if you're a customer, if you look at an image like this doesn't give you any confidence in the product at all. So let's take a look at the description. Cool, so we have the features, and that's like the title of the book again. Nothing much, it's basically repeating what's in the title, nothing new. And it says that the condition of the book is very good, hardcover, dust jacket, absent. Talk about the first edition, first printing, and all of this is all written in caps. And it says that there is damage to upper border of 2 pages, even though it says that the condition of the book, which is very good. So this is slightly confusing here. So some confusion over here about the condition of the book. Especially if you're selling used products, it will be good to take a look at what Amazon is doing. They're doing a really good job, is to have a page showing the different types of used condition. So presenting a very clear distinction of the types of condition, whether the books can be read, how is it like, how's the cover like, how's the interior of the pages like. So it gives the customers confidence that there is a standardized way of assessing the quality of the products. In this case, there is a fair amount of confusion here just by me looking at the product for the first time. And all of this is in caps. Especially if you are reading it on the mobile, by having all the text in caps without proper spacing as well, it becomes really super challenging for the potential customer to look at the description clearly. First, we have some confusion about the condition of the book. The picture of the book doesn't look really good. And then we have some text that's all in caps, making it difficult for the customer to read. And although they say over here book grading categories, fine, very good, good, fair, and poor, each of us have our own subjective interpretation of what it says. So by there having no description about what are the book grading categories right here, there is no one page to really standardize how the book condition is being graded, it creates another level of confusion. And if you look at the price point of the product, that's like 147.84 Canadian dollars. So it's not a very cheap product, and there's a lot of confusion around this book. The problem with used products that's different when you're selling on an online store versus if you're selling in a real bookstore is that if the customer is able to see the book and then be able to assess the value of the book face to face, holding the book in the hand, or at least seeing the condition of a book in a better condition using their own eyes and their own hands to actually touch the book, it actually helps to give them confidence that this is a book that's worth that much. However, as you can see, the pictures weren't really in such a great condition and the text wasn't really presented properly, and there is confusion about the condition of the book. So if I were a potential customer looking at this, if I'm not an enthusiast of this book, I don't know much about this history of the book, I'm kind of just slightly interested in this book, I might not necessarily have the confidence to buy from this store owner. So let's take a look at the product image. Product image doesn't really look good, so we can see that it's a used product. And let's take a look at the description of the product. It says seller's description, so it explains, and the condition says new. So if it's a new product and the image looks really bad, just like it was like a used product, it's not really going to give the sellers confidence because the product really looks bad. And they have put some keywords here that says buy bicycle parks, buy vintage biking here, tubes and cyclometer. So by inserting some of those spammy keywords that has nothing to do with our product here, which is a giant wine corkscrew, it's adding another level of mistrust. As I was looking through the description of the product, if you look at talking about the brand, which is obviously a very, very good brand, and talking about the design, talking about the masterpiece of functionality, but there is no mention of the color of the product, if it's a new product, and what's the material that is being made for someone who might not necessarily be familiar with the brand. So this is kind of slightly confusing over here about this product itself, even though it looks like it should be something that's not really cheap, right? Considering it's a new product, but there's a lot of confusion here when I look at the product image, looking at what has been written here with some spammy keywords. So overall, we can say that I wouldn't really trust this store. We have used products on the store, and then now we have a new product, which looks new, I suppose. When you look at it, it doesn't really say much. It just assumes that someone actually really know the product name and the painter. It says it's an art collectible, painting for sale, high-end artwork. Doesn't really tell much about how the painting was being done, what kind of painting style it was. Was it like pastel painting, oil painting? Doesn't say anything. It doesn't say about the size of the picture as well. It does give a good description of the painter, how they do it, but there was kind of not much information about this particular product itself. And let's take a look at the picture as well. The picture is not really well taken. It's out of alignment. It's kind of shabbily being taken. So you can see it's not symmetrical. It's not really uniform. There's a lot of space here. So this is a poorly taken photos. If you have an online store, this is a really bad example. Make sure it's centered in the middle. Make sure there's enough space. So it gives the customers confidence that they're buying like a good product. If you're paying $85,000 for this product, it needs to have a better picture. If you take a look at this product, you click on it, you can see that it looks a little bit blurry, doesn't really look pristine, doesn't give the customers that much confidence, to be honest. And if you take a look at a couple of the details that they have here, which is also blurry taken, I don't know why they didn't get, that's the signature of the author, but this is really blurry. could be shaky hands if they had taken the picture by themselves. For those of you out there who are selling products that's in hundreds and thousands, if you're not a professional photographer, then please hire one. If you're selling if you're selling products of that price point, then you definitely deserve to hire a professional photographer to make it look worth that amount of money. Because obviously, if someone is at an art gallery, they can see the product by themselves based on their own eyes, their own judgment of whether the product is worth it. But just looking at the picture itself, they're using their own eyes to see a picture that is poorly taken on image, doesn't really give them confidence to buy the product. One of the things that the store owner has said that they've done is actually SEO marketing. I was just checking out the store and then I looked at the menu and I saw this keyword hit list. So when I clicked on it, it brought me to this page which says keyword hit list popular store phrases. And I thought, oh my god, they have made a noob mistake. This is 101 spamming, keyword spamming, and that's what Google abhors. Google doesn't want any store to do this. Basically, what they're trying to do here is to try to put all the keywords that you want to be ranking for and create a page for that, making Google think that this store should be ranking for these keywords. This is not the best practice for SEO. In fact, this is the worst of its kind. And Google hands out penalties to store owners who do this. Basically, as you can see, keyword phrases for general site purchases, putting in the website link, putting in all the keywords that they want to be ranking for sale, 18th, 19th century novels for sale, every single item that they want to be ranking for, they put it all here and have it as a page. Okay, this is not allowed. People used to do that in the past to game Google's system so they can get higher rankings or more clicks on Google search. However, Google has since updated their algorithm to be more sophisticated, so this kind of SEO practices is frowned upon. If you have something like this, or if you know of some marketing guru recommending you to do this, please don't do it. You should never put all the keywords you want to be ranking for on one single page. In fact, I've also mentioned this earlier in the video, is that if there are keywords you want to be ranking for, those keywords should be part of your product title and in the product description. And you should only put those keywords in naturally. You don't really want to put this spamming of the keywords. You want to put it naturally as though you are describing it. And Google's algorithm will be able to know how closely related your product is to what the users are searching for and put you on the Google search results. When you engage in this kind of spammy SEO tactics, doesn't help your store. In fact, by doing this, you might have even been dished out a penalty by Google and actually having less search traffic from the right people. Let's take a look at what the store owner has done over here, which is the audience targeting by popularity. I'm actually not quite sure what the owner means, so let's take a look at the store. I would assume that they felt that they have actually listed all the products and anyone who comes to the store is able to sort the products by popularity, like best-selling or the featured products. If this is what the owner meant, then this is actually not a tactic that's actually helping them at all in the first place. This is just basically like a browsing feature that every store has. The last tactic we're going to look at over here is what the owner has said, that they have formulated an online identity of what they have to offer to sell. So this is a slightly confusing statement over here, because having a clear online identity does not mean that knowing what they have to offer to sell. Is that who are their buyers in the first place? Let's say if you have a shoe shop, if you're selling sports shoe, you are targeting people who are running, so they may need special shoes, or hiking, so they need special shoes. So that would be the identity of the customers that you have to know. So let's take a look if this store has actually done that. Basically, this is a store which is like a general store which sells everything from books to bikes to sports car, DVDs, toys, others, and high-priced products. And they have a collection of used products from books from the 18th century, 19th century to relatively a new product. And given the wide range of price point, it means that the identity of the store is not really clear. The online store and the physical store works differently. If you want to set up an online store which is offering products of very, very high price point, like over here, what they have here for high price products, featuring like maybe paintings that they have, art sign originals, and you are selling products that's of like thousands, tens and thousands of dollars, you want to set up a different storefront for that. For those products, you're targeting a different types of audience who is looking for used products. So you're actually having a wide range of people there, and having everything on that one store, the identity of the store is actually not clear. This is very different, of course, if you have a physical store and everyone can see what's the store about and they will browse every single thing. But online, typically people don't really spend a lot of time browsing every single product you have on your store. Yes, they might browse every single product if you have only one product type. Let's say if you are a swimwear company and then you want to look at the different swimwear collections, so you might look at every single product. But what they have here is they have such a wide range of product. A person who's interested in old books might not necessarily be interested in DVD and VHS. So you're actually creating a general store identity over here. And having used products and new products, because you're not like Amazon, that's a very big company, or let's say if you are a generic store like Walmart, so you're selling everything. So people will go in and they will get everything. Online store doesn't quite work like that. Most people would select product types that belong to 1 to 2 to 3 categories that are closely related to each other. Let's say you have collectibles items, so you would have the collectible item types that is more closely related to each other. If you're selling a product that's of hundreds, tens of thousands, the branding for the store would look very different from a product that is of a lower price point. So in terms of brand identity, what they have done here, this is actually not very clear despite what the owner might have thought.
I hope now you understand the fundamentals of what are the things you should never do for your store. I hope that you're not doing any of those tactics. If you are, please stop, because it will never get you the results. You're just wasting your time, you're going to demoralize yourself in the long run. If you have heard of this tactic before and you were suspicious and didn't try any of it, well, congratulations, luckily you dodged the bullet. Setting up a Shopify store is easy, but really growing and getting real potential customers to your store that turn into sales and increase over time is not something that happens overnight. There's no shortcut to building an online store business. And if there's anyone who tells you that there is a shortcut to success, please avoid them and go in the opposite direction. If you really want to drive high quality traffic, do download my Shopify marketing guide, where I go into the different ways of properly setting up the right foundation to get free or paid traffic. Instead of buying traffic for your store, what you need to do instead to really build the right foundation, if you have some budget, is to set up ads if you want to see more immediate to mid-term results. So you could run ads for your store, get real people to your store, target the right groups of people, make sure your products are well presented. I hope this video was educational for you, help you to avoid those shady tactics that's prohibited by Google, and it will not help you to foster trust with your potential customers. So please stop doing that. If you have some budget and you're running ads and need some professional help, I help Shopify store owners to run profitable Google Shopping ads that drive high quality traffic and sales for your Shopify store. You can get in touch with me, link in the description and pinned comments below. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, remember to give it a like, do subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future videos on how to double your traffic and sales by getting on Google and YouTube. Page 1, I'm Claristine, the RI Doctor, signing off. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!